Um, from the dumpsters of small caps today, but looking for always love listen to you the last hour. You have great wisdom and insight.
Oh,
Love some of the analysis, like the small wins, large wins, the occasional large win, and then small losses, but never large losses. So you're all over that. I love.
yes, sir.
Yeah,
It's really the name of the game, right? Like
yeah.
I always say it's okay to be wrong. We're gonna be wrong a lot, but we can't stay wrong.
Hmm.
We gotta adapt with what's happening.
Oh, I watched the last. The last funded
Ooh.
interview.
Oh
Can't.
wow.
Oh, what just
Sorry.
happened?
That
Did
came
Amazon?
fast.
Amazon. Oh, wow. There we go.
Boom. All right. So I'm gonna go hunt for numbers here. That was a big push down at the first move here. We get a mean reversion up to 228, but now we are in a battle here. It
Oh,
looks like numbers came out. So I'm gonna pull up my trade.
okay. Yep. Man, I was gonna play like a earnings per share game here with the chat, but that was released real quick. North America segment sales increased 10% year over year. So North America sales increased 10%. International sales increased 17% year over year. AWS, the web services
Mhm.
segment sales increased 24% year over year to 35.6 billion. Guys, this is traders are I mean, this is quite the story of liquidation right here on traders that are oversized here as this is bouncing all
Yeah.
around.
So we're testing Josh's big level of this 220. We are under at a few dollars here, still showing
Mhm.
weakness. The AWS, that's going to be a big story of the tape. I was hoping to talk about it before the numbers, but we can talk about it after once the dust settles just a little bit here. Coming up onto Josh's first target of this 210 here. 210 is about to transact. It looks like we are going to lose this low any second now. So quite a flush there. And we
Okay,
are going to be
so
seeing if the buyers can step in this zone of interest. Wow.
okay, their revenue 213.4 billion versus estimate of 211.44 billion. Their EPS missed. Okay,
That's
one
interesting.
one point a dollar 95 missed. Misses the $1.97 estimate.
And there we go.
Wow.
We did lose that 210. That 210 handle has been lost for
Hmm.
now. We can see if
Mhm.
we can reclaim, but at this point, it does look like we might make a break for that 200 even. Yeah, that 200 even is coming in pretty hot here. The 205 found a small buyer, but they got just flushed back through. That was an aggressive candle there. So we are seeing a bit of mixed tape, but I would not feel good if I was long here yet. I think we might need to make an undercut of that 200. Definitely showing some weakness. And let's see how the market is responding overall. We're going to pull up SPY just real quick here. This is a
You know,
five-minute chart.
the
Yeah, you know
SPY
what's
overall was weak. I mean, it was very choppy, but red. I mean, nearly
Mhm.
everything was red today. So I mean, phew, some more bleeding. Here we go. And what's surprising, Amazon historically has beat their earnings at 65% of the time. 13 out
Mhm.
of 20 quarters they have beat. Even the last four quarters, they beat by like 20, 25% or so. So what is going on here with Amazon
It's
with the earnings? Yeah.
a little bit
Wow.
concerning
This
that
is
we aren't seeing
big.
any kind of true definitive, basically sign that we're going to be rewarded going forward for the AI spend that we've had in the past year. I mean, it feels like the market is kind of punishing more often than not, with the exception of Google, which even they got taken out briefly. It seems like this whole everybody was kind of waiting for the collective reassurance that the AI trade is still well underway, that this capex will be rewarded and appreciated by the market. And I just don't know if we're seeing any definitiveness in either direction based on these earnings. I don't know. How are you kind of framing that?
Well, I'm taking a look at the other AI names because there was like we had IREN, which is trying to shift a little bit. I was getting a little pop, and then MSTR, but that's related to the Bitcoin. I mean, some of those other names are seeing a little bit of a pop in after hours that were reporting earnings. Um, but then you saw what Bitcoin's been doing, which is there's panic selling going on right there on BTC. So
Yeah.
and I know MSTR is very tightly associated there. Amazon under 200 right now.
Pretty wild. So, I mean, if you're short, I think this is a great logical place to take some off the table. We will see some kind of passive buyers stepping in at some point here under 200. Doesn't mean they will hold, but it will just, yeah, see, we're starting to wick up here. I would expect this to be an area where we do start to see some longer term buyers say, hey, I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting Amazon to drop 10% here today, but since it did, it's time for me to buy some more. So we'll see if they are strong enough to hold this line, because right now that is pretty rough. Let me
You
pull
know,
up.
and Amazon the last few days has been, I wonder if some of this was priced in a little bit. I mean, it was because the last few days we've had red days on Amazon.
Mhm.
Uh, and so how I know tack and tuna, how they were saying they trade earnings is, they trade it week two ahead of time and kind of like if they're short on
Yeah.
Amazon, then take profits into this. If they're long and then you get good earnings. But it's a lot of the time it just is vexed in weeks prior. This is a
Mhm.
significant move, though. And like you said, the 200 here is real key. If we zoom out left of the chart, we are seeing 200 as a key level. See if we can hold.
Yeah, and remember, this is the daily, so it's not showing on this candle or on the chart right yet, but we are trading way down here, guys, way down here. So this is where prices that literally haven't been seen since, let's go back to a monthly, the 200 level. This is of interest because this was the high in 2024, I believe. No, I
Man,
guess this was a 2024 spike, but still, this was a significant area of interest. Even going back all the way to 2021, this 188 level, if we can get down there. So this is like ancient history for Amazon. A lot of mega caps are trading up and away from these previous
trying
prices,
to
not these guys.
trying to see if there's been a gap this large historically ever. I mean, this is significant.
And
So levels, yeah, yeah. We're taking a look right now. I don't know if anybody anticipated this thing under 200, but here we are. Here we go. I can see 180. It's a level. If we look way on back, that's in 2021. We have some consolidation, 170 to 180 there.
So I am seeing buyers. We had this zone. It flushed under our zone, and you can actually see right at the very bottom of these wicks. That is where we started to find the buyers. So under this 200, I do
Hmm.
think that this is probably going to be setting a low. At the very least, you can define your risk pretty tightly under the low of the day if
Oh,
you are
nice.
trying to take a little mean reversion play into tomorrow. I think that 210 is not an unreasonable target there, just mean reverting half of this. That being said, Caster's curse here. The Bears are stepping back in. We got to see if they can hold the line. The setup is still valid in that it has not broken this low, but the strength of that downwards candle tells me that maybe Bears are not done. Oh, mama, that's a spicy candle.
Yeah, but at least is you're waiting for defined levels. I like your idea there
Mm,
versus just trading the earnings the second they come out versus letting it define itself. Well, what are some levels we can risk off of, and
mhm,
then size appropriately to that. That was the call-in show today on sizing, and so yeah, the Amazon it did the flush under the 200, right? It's like when you get that close to 200, very oftentimes towards that whole dollar, especially like 110, 20, 100, 200 is likely going to be pulling under that level.
mhm. And you also got to play the second level kind of mind games thinking of like how many people are out there thinking the exact same thing that I was, and they need to get flushed out one last time. So there's always the potentiality for just a little bit. The idea could be right, but the exact path to get there, they could finesse you real quick. So can never get too married to any idea. Got to be willing to say, hey, maybe I'm in the cohort that needs to get flushed out. Maybe I was a little bit too
Mhm.
too obvious.
Speaking of flushing out, Mr. Steve, yeah, I was taking a look at BTC since, of course, that's everyone's talking about it right now. But I was taking a look back at like the different cycles, side
Mhm,
by side summary of like 2013 to 15, it had dumped from 1,000 to 150. That was an 87% drop.
mhm,
2017 to 2018, it dropped. I don't, if you recall, 20,000 to 3,200, another 80% drop. And then
mhm,
2021, 2022. 77% from 69,000 to 15,000. So those three different times it dropped nearly 80%. And so there is speculation. Maybe we drop another 70 to 80%. It's been another 4 or 5 years, just like those times, back down to even 34, $5, $6,000. It was because it likely once it pulls down to 50, similar to Amazon right here to
mhm.
200,
Yeah.
it's gonna pull under, and everybody's gonna have orders at 50,000 on BTC. So likely it's gonna, yeah, it could even pull under that. So we'll see if history's gonna repeat itself there.
You know,
Re- oh,
history, it often doesn't repeat, but it almost always rhymes. And so I
I
think
love
that
that.
you're looking in the right places, and I would love another significant haircut after everybody's thinking, "Man, it can't go lower," right? Well, Kevin's over here saying,
That's what
"History
he said.
disagrees." So I like that.
Yeah, it's just whatever the majority. Yeah, when you're on the side of the majority, be cautious. We have a couple other plays that are popping up too. I know Amazon's the big one today, but Reddit and Roblox just came out with some
Okay,
earnings.
check it out.
That's getting some volatility on those plays. So Amazon's holding that 200 right now, giving clear risk levels. Let's be mindful of that. And then Roblox from 60 to 72.
Yeehaw.
Reddit's giving a lot back, but
Giving a lot
Roblox.
back. It's basically retesting the previous structure's highs. This is where it's a real gut check if you're a bull. It's like, why did we need to retrace $10 here if we're going higher? Makes you really question it, especially when Roblox is just off to the races like that. So if you are a Reddit bull, that was your spot here. I'm not
Yeah.
touching it, but
If
something
you
to consider.
Roblox is an interesting name. Apparently, that they are just under a lot of scrutiny in different countries. They're getting like investigated over like
Mhm.
risks from minors that are just on the platform. Apparently, a lot like the Netherlands I'm seeing, and
No.
then some other countries, yeah, they're just being investigated over risks that minors face on the platform. So I don't know much about Roblox. I know the kids are swiping their parents' credit cards on it and for their skins and whatnot. But Roblox, it's been bleeding for a while now.
Yeah, we can pull that up on a higher time frame just to show you how much this name has been punished, and sounds like very rightfully so. Again, I'm not up to date on what the heck the kids are up to. It sounded like a good business when I heard about them swiping their parents' credit cards. Less so if there are any sorts of regulatory potentials or, God forbid,
Yeah.
safety risks. Like that's something that'll make investors' wallets dry up real quick. So we
Mhm.
want to make sure there's an actual turnaround story before we get involved with a name like that. That being
Right.
said, this is at an area where, man, it got taken to the cleaners right back to this long-term base of consolidation. If it was going to, start turning around and get that turnaround story in effect, this would be the area where it could. So now we are trading back in the 74 area. I really want to see it reclaim. Where is it? This kind of high volume shelf that's starting to build out, basically where we're trading at, this 75-ish handle. So if we can reclaim that, it might be the start of building out a base and continuing on up. But man, it's a weird chart just getting hammered this heavily. Makes me
Yeah,
think.
and then around lunch today, the analysis was that the speculation was that they're going to report a Q4 loss. So,
Mm,
but the thing is, Steve, when you're so exhausted, the ticker already, again, it's like it gets vexed in. So when
yeah.
something is anticipated, oftentimes have you seen this in earnings where
Mhm.
it'll be bad earnings, but then the stock will shoot straight up. And
Yeah,
so,
I
yeah.
love that. Those are my favorites because it leaves people scratching their heads, and usually it's a sign of exactly what you're talking about. These overall trends kind of exhausting, and this is something that I love mentioning because stocks often bottom on bad news.
Mm.
Oftentimes you'll see a headline that should impact something negatively, and it doesn't. And one thing that I will take a little bit of a victory lap over. I called this out the night that we got Maduro, or like the day after that, the market, I said, why in the world is is oil not dumping way more? Why is it not dumping more? This should be breaking the range lower, and it just wasn't. And then it just started surging. So that it should have been, a bunch more supply into the market. There should have been a lot of reasons why this should not have been a good thing for oil. And yet it turned out to be the exact point where a lot of these names were bottoming. A large
Mm.
part of that is that Chevron and Exxon, obviously, a lot of business opportunities open up to them as that Venezuela trade is happening. So, just something to consider there that, once there's too much movement and exhaustion on one
Yeah.
side, that unwind can be very powerful, even if it might not be the most obviously bullish thing for a sector.
Yeah, right. You can exhaust yourself on analysis with these tickers. Like that's where you can get in trouble too, where it's like almost overanalyzing to the point where you can over bias on a name can certainly get you in trouble. But yeah, if you're on the side of the majority, you got to be cautious. So Amazon is holding this 200 so far and trying to find a trend here and curl back around slightly right now.
Not too bad.
Amazon, just be mindful of that. The 200. As far as some of the other plays go, IREN RBLX is holding up. They did beat their sales. They're It looks like they had 8.28 billion versus 7.87.
Yeah, that's looking
So
very constructive just chart wise. I mean, this is the best kind of result you can look for on earnings where it flags a, immediate big surge and then it holds that very nicely. On the Reddit here, let me switch it to a 1 minute to show you. You can get the big pop and then it can sell off and start consolidating so much lower in that range. And that's really just a sign of caution because you want to see that acceptance, that price acceptance up at the high of that new range, like the Roblox there. So I
So
got
what do you think on Reddit? Do you like it for the play like that with holding the previous close, or holding the close of the day is probably key, right? That 152.
Yeah, I think the
Yeah.
152, that's gonna be definitely important, and I just kinda have to look up at a higher time frame and see, like, is this just a big spike up into internal liquidity to kind of get ready to push down further? For
Mhm.
example, just in this whole downtrend here, how many times has it kind of pushed up into an old pivot? So look, this kind of level where it pushes up and then loses it, and then it comes back and tags it again.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it just doing the same thing right here? Or it loses it, pushes back, tags it again before going lower? What I need to see is acceptance over this last swing up here.
Right, right.
So the
So there
fact
could
that
be
it was rejected like that, not the best look. That's kind of where my head's at in terms of levels to the downside. If it doesn't hold this 150, man, it could slide pretty quickly here. This is a name that I was long in and had to stop out on this day right here when it lost this 240, yeah, 238-ish there. I was long from 225, took like $5 a share or something. Missed out on this nice 260 sell level there because it just wasn't acting right. I should have just flipped short, but it
So a
does.
topic of conversation today we had was on the dollar cost averaging. I'm
Mhm.
curious, like if you ever applied that, or if I mean, clearly that was great risk, seeing as what happened with it. But on your swing trades, are you ever utilizing the dollar cost averaging methodology?
Yeah, but the thing for me is to DCA something, I have to really believe in it. So
Yeah,
it can't be something like Reddit where it's like, I like
yeah,
the narrative. I can get on board with the narrative as long as the chart's supportive, but it's not something that is so high conviction, like say Micron or something that even if Micron was trading in the dumpster, I'd be sitting here going, well, I'm just going to buy more and wait because eventually the market will realize that I'm a genius and they're all dummies, you
yeah.
know? Um, so for something like a really high conviction trade for me, like last year was silver, for example. The year before was gold. A couple months ago was like space. Um, those are still high conviction trades, but they've kind of played themselves out a little bit this year or this
Yeah.
quarter. So now I've got to really wait, and they have to offer me really good levels.
So
Something like uranium, for example, it hasn't had the crazy move yet. So this is one that I'm more inclined to DCA. So this is
uh,
the sector that I'm DCAing right now because I'm not sure how low it needs to go. And it's the kind of thing where if I'm just completely wrong and it breaks this whole range that it's forming and it goes lower, well, I just want to buy more because I think that long term now it's offering me, as a poker player would say, it's kind of like a cry call. It's like, well, it doesn't look good now, but the odds are so good that I have to take the shot. You know?
yeah, exactly. That's a when as you were explaining your DCA, I was thinking like the pocket ace hand
Mhm.
analogy that I use so often too, where yeah, the high conviction one, you're putting more chips on the table, but outside
Yes.
of that, it's like I'm reducing chips. I may, yeah, sizing smaller on those hands, and that sounded like a Reddit trade for you, where you felt like there was good odds in your favor for for favorable outcome, but it didn't show itself, so took it off. So good trade there.
Yeah,
Reddit.
and
Go.
just sorry to keep it with the poker analogy really quick because I think it really helps exemplify some of these ideas. If anybody's watched professional poker like on TV, you'll see every card they put on the table, the odds change, right?
Yeah.
So for me, when that daily candle happened, I'll pull it back up on Reddit. When the daily candle happened that made it lose that 21 day, it was like the river just hit, and all of a sudden, what I was, I had good odds for a full house, for example, and all of a sudden now I'm staring down the barrel of a brick, and
Oh,
there's nothing good, and all of a sudden my odds went from like 70% to like 30 or
yeah.
something. So now I have to reassess, and it's
Yeah.
probably a good idea to fold. And do poker players get upset when that happens and it's time to fold? They go, "Oh, I got information. It's an easy read now. There's no skill involved here. It's just the right thing to do 100 times out of 100 to do this.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't work this time, it was the right thing to do statistically." That thinking in bets.
And but executing on it though, like in the moment, that's where a lot of traders will have paralysis by analysis. So you like just making sure you execute. Yeah, I used to watch it was like the Phil Hellmuth and Ivy and Daniel, like all those videos. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed the poker. It's
Man, that was
this
the
is
golden age too, I think. So such
yeah.
fun to watch. Yeah, Ivy's the goat in my book, but all
Oh
the
man.
pills.
Hmm. So Reddit's interesting. Like, what are your thoughts on like there's so much fear that AI is just replacing essentially this information, service that Reddit is, and I think
Ooh.
that's what's likely been causing such a bleed there on
Yeah.
it. Uh, with yeah, just with AI, and the strength of that and advertising growth decelerating. So, what are your thoughts with Reddit?
It's tricky. This narrative is it's really interesting to see this play out in real time, and I think it's going to be one of these ones, kind of similarly to how the internet, that technology plays out in terms of how it can be monetized. So I think there are going to be a lot of stories where this really opens up a lot of potential for a lot of names. Uh, in the kind of, what would you consider Reddit? I guess data collection and data
Right. So
analysis.
that's where they're making their money, right? Because they
Yeah.
can just sell that data. Yeah, yeah.
So I think that there is still a lot to be said for data sets like that you can trade LLMs off of. I think that it's going to be a very rapidly changing horizon here as we continue to value these data sets in the face of new ways to train AI and
Mhm.
self reinforcing AI learning systems. So for LLMs, like for example, Duolingo or Reddit were very highly sought after at one point in time, or given priced at such a premium because if you wanted to train an LLM, you had to like hand label these things at some point. Like it didn't know a picture of a horse was a
Mhm.
horse. It knew that because somebody literally said,
Right.
"This is a horse." And then eventually it was able to say, "Okay, so here are all the pictures of a horse. If I want a horse in a bathtub, I'm going to, know what I know about bathtubs, take what I know about horses and, combine them. So
Right.
as AI gets smarter and is able to learn in more intuitive ways, I'm not an expert in this space either, but it does seem like it's happening a lot faster than people are kind of anticipating. Maybe the value
Mhm.
of this data set is maybe we've been overpricing this. Maybe there are going to be much
Hmm.
cheaper solutions. So I think that's one kind of just area where it's like, heck, I don't know how it's gonna. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm gonna understand how it plays out. I'm trusting in the general theme of AI having a lot more potential to generate revenue than it and generate productivity than it does to eliminate it. Just because I think with any kind of advancement in technology, if it can save time, if you invest a lot of money in it, then the companies that invest a lot of money in it eventually will profit off of that. They'll reap.
And there's one person to really ask, and that's the CEO who actually sold 18,000 shares of the of the stock in January. So it's like, that's either bearish or bullish signal, right? If the CEO doesn't even want to own shares of his company, that totaled like millions of dollars worth of shares, then a lot of traders just use that as a signal too. And I'm
Yeah,
and certainly the high frequency trading that should be written right up in there. Once that's released, whoo, bear signal. So
absolutely.
yeah, they've their user growth is down. But it looks like the earnings reported were fairly good. They exceeded expectations. Reddit, even though it's getting
Yeah.
smacked right now, Reddit's getting smacked.
Just getting punished. Yeah. So I wanted to just mention really quickly Intel, a great example of those insider buys or sells showing as a sign of confidence or otherwise. Well, Intel, there was a large order at actually 42. So some C-suite member basically bottom ticked it like pre-market or something after their crazy wipeout after earnings. And that really did show a sign of confidence and buyers just flooded back in and
Oh,
this thing
okay. I
surged
see
back
that.
up to 50.
Mm.
So like you're saying, just these big block trades, these big block orders can really be a sign, even if you're not like caring about who made them. I mean, that's just an added cherry on top, but just these big orders really good to mark out on your chart because they can often be these really pivotal levels. Let's see. So yeah, Amazon, or I'm sorry, Reddit is making its move, flushing on down, lost that low of the day under 150. So we got to see if there's a swift reclaim. Otherwise, you got to imagine it's a short off of that 150 into the under the into the, I don't even know, into the
They
pits.
offered a $1 billion stock buyback plan. They can repurchase shares
Hmm.
from time to time on the open market.
Does that matter is the question. I don't know if that matters. Amazon trying its best to build out a nice base, a nice little higher low here, and kind of cap the damage here over the 200. Maybe a cash session tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty likely that we do retest that 200. So don't feel like, hey, I missed the 200 buy. I'll never get it again. Often these kind of mean reversion moves in the cash session need to form a more stable, higher volume bottom as well.
That's
Roblox.
that's funny. They can buy back, but they're not going to. Actually,
Yeah,
actually they're
that's
gonna
another thing.
actually they're gonna sell.
So that's another thing. It's like, is it even a vote of confidence if they're like, "Hey, by the way, we just authorized the opportunity to buy back more shares.
Mhm.
Also, we're down 10% today. We're not going to buy more now." It's like, where do you
Right.
think your fair value is? That
Man,
doesn't feel great.
and investors are really not even confident with the good earnings here.
Mhm.
They're up $1.24 versus 94 cents. They're up 726 million versus 665 million. Uh, authorized its first ever $1 billion share repurchase program, which yeah, like we're saying, it's like what does that matter if they're not even gonna when they're probably not going to. We'll see. Repurchase their shares of their own company. But yeah, the highly volatile RDDT, and then Amazon starting to find its base. Man, that actually was like really good dip buy in
Yeah, I
retrospect.
mean, those, and often it's like, don't overthink it. You had 5 minutes to basically say, all right, every time it goes under 200, somebody's stepping in and it won't close a candle under there. So, we
Hmm.
did mention it. I mentioned it here. And then the next candle, I was like, oh, actually, I don't know though, but as long as
But
it
it
doesn't
never
hold this
crossed the
low.
lows. It never crossed under the lows. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like defined. It was like the perfect defined
So it
risk.
really does go to show that like it will test your patience. Like I called that out, and even me within a
Hmm.
minute was like, actually, I don't know, but if it holds the low, so you gotta give it that risk that it's showing you. It's if it holds the low, it is good, no matter how scary it makes it feel. Because often, like I think you said this last time we were streaming together, often the best trades are the ones that kind of feel the worst when you take them. You know?
Yeah, the most uncomfortable. Like
Mhm.
it, yeah, oftentimes, at least for mean reversion for sure. Like when a trade feels comfortable, it's oftentimes like comfortable for everybody, and
Yeah.
and so that's when, yeah, that's what makes it a bad trade because then you're in with everybody else and you'll be out with everybody else too. So yeah, those the scary. Usually, when you just embrace the scary nature of it, when it provides obviously the best opportunities when everyone's panicking out. For example, BTC, is it going to go to the 30s, 30, 35 to 40,000? That would stay somewhat consistent. I liked what you said as far as history kind of rhymes. It doesn't
Mhm.
necessarily repeat, but yeah, because it was what the last three times it did that was 70%, 80%. It was right around there. It rhymed. And then, of course, just the overall, like during COVID, everything tanked and it provided an opportunity to scoop up some of those companies, be it like the airlines and the cruises and
Oh,
just
yeah.
amazing opportunities on all those plays where they're seeing panic, and everybody thinks that's when everybody thinks, Steve, it's going to zero. So that's what
Right.
I'm saying with BTC. It's like right now it's just still panic. I'd wait until personally until it's just everybody is at that point where it's capitulation. You have euphoria, and then it's just straight capitulation, and that's when essentially when buyers are exhausted, and then that's when all the panic selling. Uh, yeah, it starts just going sideways, and you can scoop it on up with defined levels of risk, like Amazon there, 200. So yeah,
I
let
love
let
it.
the let the trades come to you. Don't force trades. Force and never works out well.
No, I think you're just nailing it just point after point. It's just so poignant. Each time you make a new one, I'm like, then I get like, I want to go touch on that and expand on that. But
Mhm.
just in general, for waiting until there's like capitulation and really just blood in the streets, like for Bitcoin, I want to see. Sorry, Michael Saylor, but I need to see some tears, brother. You can't be so happy on Twitter saying, "Oh, I'm buying the dip. I'm psyched." You know,
Yeah.
I need to see real. I need to see a wellness check. I need you to be telling your followers, "Hey guys, I know it's bad. I know it's like none of these silly little memes and stuff. I need to see actual fear in the biggest holders in this market to really and potentially
Yeah.
flushing out of their holdings, you know, to really see an actual sentiment shift because otherwise there's safety in numbers until there isn't, right? So the consensus trades can be easy money until they're not. So I don't want to fade that, even though, you know, being too heavily concentrated on one side of the trade is a warning sign. So, you know, it's my ears are perked up because so many people are short Bitcoin. That does not mean I'm ready to long it yet, though, you know. So we'll
Right,
see how it
right.
plays out.
Just have to understand that longs take longer. Your shorts
Mhm.
take shorter, as evidenced, with the BTC in the last couple of days. Longs do take longer. That's why I prefer the shorts, um, but there's still great opportunity on the long term side. Like I prefer the shorts on like intraday trades, but as far as
Yeah.
long term goes, I don't mind. But speaking of somebody who does very well with the longs, Mr. Josh is in the house. Good call on those levels, 200 right on the dot, and she's really been going sideways. And we got Lance who's working this up 5 points on it from the 200 call
Oh, nice
and
job.
looking for 210 on it. So good work there.
Good to see you, by the way, Lance. Hey, and Rohan. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, guys. So also interesting to see Reddit there, the little flush of under 150, that level of interest, it did reclaim. So now it's testing this downtrend line break here. So we got to see, hey, maybe we can get back into the bull territory here on Reddit. I got to say, maybe this is selling a selling crescendo. That's a pretty good sell. 250 to 150.
I feel like I'm back in the back dumpster diving in small caps with this Reddit action. This
I know
Reddit
you
trade.
kind of are, brother.
Yeah, I
It's
know. Like
hammered.
these earnings trading like low float penny stocks over here. So yeah, RDT. I mean, good earnings, but again, it's just. I mean, you had. I think overall the consensus is correct with the long term idea with Reddit. Sure, they had good earnings, but the overall analysis there is AI is really going to take over the business model, and so that's why she's been bleeding so much.
Yeah, and I think just the overall theme for earnings are going to be like contingent and hinging on this AI monetization. So, I mean,
Mm,
what kind of for me the biggest headline I think in this earnings cycle so far is just the amount of capex that like the capex guidance for Google. I mean, they're guiding like what was it? I want to say like close to 200 billion in capex guidance or something, pretty significant. And it's just a matter of is this going to actually transition into actual profits? And when things are changing so
mhm,
fast, when we don't know if LLMs are going to be the primary kind of method of AI, you know, of actual monetization of AI, like if we're moving towards a more agentic approach where we need less of these simple data sets that Reddit can provide, maybe we start to realize that people's opinions on Reddit aren't as reliable for you know, for marketable data sets as we think they are. We could see some rapid repricing in this, and that's where I gotta rely on the charts. And it was looking really good long term. Now it's not, so I can't touch them yet. I just gotta wait until it looks good again, you know, in terms of what the overall market's thinking on that chart.
yeah, Wall Street Bets being on Reddit, maybe they can push
They're
push
skewing the
their
numbers.
own platform up. Come on, Wall Street Bets, what are you guys doing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we are
it's
seeing cracks and SPY there, by the way, just after hours finally losing that 676 into the 675. So maybe some resting buyers there. But geez, yeah, markets it's just looking kind of heavy here, and I don't know, it's just a matter of for me like are the earnings good enough because we are they
right.
don't seem bearish, but our expectations are high, and people are starting to get kind of antsy, thinking that valuations are high across the board. And you look around, and they're taking out growth sectors. You look around and money's going into international stocks. Like, it's not the most appealing time to be an investor in US equities, to be honest, you know? So I think that that's kind of setting the stage for how punishing this round of earnings are. It's not so much that
Mhm.
they're bad, it's just that are they good enough to justify the levels that we're trading at up here?
Right.
When you look at around the world and see like, well, maybe there are better opportunities in Latin America still, in China perhaps. I don't know. So interesting dynamic at play.
Yeah. Well, you're right, because Amazon had record revenue, and, I mean, it was by a couple billion, not by much, beat
Mhm.
analyst expectations, but, of course, the earnings per share, it fell, and that's been consistently, beating expectations by 65 plus percent of the time over the last 5 years. So, yeah, I think you're right. Like the investors have high expectations for sure, very high
Yeah.
expectations, and if Amazon's not beating the earnings, that then does that present additional questions such as like where's inflation at? Where's
Yep.
consumer spending? Consumer spending,
Right.
where's that at? So just I think overall concern on the global or economy.
Yeah, mentioning that they are the bellwether for e-commerce
Yeah.
margins and for, just overall the strength of the consumer. No, that's a great point, and we are just seeing continued compression in that, in who is actually providing the consumer spending. You know, it's been compressed and compressed to where now it's not even the top quartile, it's the top 10% is accounting for what, like
Mhm.
90% of consumer spending,
I
which
know.
is it's just going to show that, hey, more and more people are living paycheck to paycheck, and less money is actually getting spent on discretionary things that aren't like, making sure bills are paid.
Right.
So when you have this kind of compression like this, well, something's got to give, right? The you got to have a healthy workforce to, well, buy things and support an economy. So it'll be we're approaching an incredibly interesting kind of, I almost want to call it like a singularity, where we need to figure out what we're doing in terms of this labor crisis, because as AI keeps
I
progressing, there's
know.
going to be
I
less and less
just
jobs.
it's almost like every week,
Mhm.
yeah, you see all these companies just slashing job after job after job, but, yeah, I completely agree with Amazon despite their truck just showing up to the house to deliver something, it's hard
Yeah.
it's hard not to utilize their services over here
Oh
even
yeah.
though yeah, so but yeah, absolutely. I mean, Amazon, they're investing this year, 2026, 200 billion plus in building artificial intelligence infrastructure.
Hmm.
So, yeah, AI is taking over, and it's just it's a ground that we haven't treaded this.
Yeah.
And so but you know what's strange, Steve, is like nobody really talks about the concerns of it. It's just we're like walking off the edge of a cliff with it, and but where are we going as a society with AI? I mean, certainly there's benefits to it, but if it replaces all the jobs, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, there gonna be enough jobs for people? That's the question, and
And
moving forward.
it's a major question, right? Because we're gonna have to have some big conversations as a society about potentially restructuring things. Because
Mhm.
if there aren't enough jobs for people to live, well, what that really is saying is that we've become efficient enough as a society that we don't need everybody to work for society to function. So
Mm.
then the question is, does the surplus that our society creates, does it go to creating a more robust safety net for the people who have been basically, uh, gentrified out of the job economy, or like they no longer have a job because things have gotten more efficient. So either, I think that you judge a society by how they treat the worst off in that society. I think that's a good metric.
Mm.
So we either start implementing more policies that end up culminating in something like a UBI, or I mean, what's the alternative? You got to have people who can buy things for them to keep buying things. You can't squeeze a
Yeah.
lower quartile forever. So at some point, we're gonna have to have those conversations, and I don't know if we're ready to. It's a
Well,
big.
yeah, no, but right, that's the thing, like, nobody's having the conversation. I completely
Mm.
agree. I don't know how you avoid, I mean, money is only money if you can allocate labor to people, right? Like
Mhm.
even Musk said, "Look, put me on an what he's going to be like the first trillionaire or something." And he just recently tweeted today. He was like, "I have found out money does not bring happiness, but what does it do? It allocates labor." He said, "Put me on an island with $1 trillion. What does it do? It does you no good.
Mhm.
It does you
Mm.
no good." So it's
Yep.
only useful for allocating labor. But like you said, if all the labor is now allocated to AI and the bots, like, and we don't, so we don't need like we could pursue like creative things as a culture. You can pursue other things that
Yep.
maybe not be labor intensive, things of interest and passion.
Well, that
Yeah.
was we got the golden ages, right? Like we had the Renaissance because we had time to not, slave over the fields every second of every day, and we could think about
Mhm.
things. We could dream. We could paint beautiful pictures. We could advance as a culture. So that's the upside. That's the upshot to this. If we can, figure out how to allocate all these resources, which are becoming available to us in terms of labor time, it's this really interesting nexus point where we have that, but we also have this age of scarcity where, because of geopolitical political risks and everything, all these countries are hoarding physical commodities, in
Mhm.
this push for unlocking, or cognitive offloading, allowing every individual to do more with AI. Well, that demands physical resources, and we're in a race to build more data centers to support it. So it's very interesting, these dynamics. Things are moving very fast, and if you're able to kind of get in front of this is where generational wealth can be made, really tapping into these themes early. And we are still early. That's the crazy part. It doesn't feel like it when we're in the middle of it, but it's going to be moving fast in the next
Yeah.
year or two here.
Steve the Achieve. Guess who we got in chat? Mr.
Who we got?
Knowles. Mr. Knowles.
Oh, Mr. Nos. MOH down 30% after hours. RIP Healthcare.
Oh,
Molina Health, right? So they are dependent on, what is it? On the
wow.
ACA subsidies, or I forgot what they're focused in, but that is a gnarly wipeout from 175 all the way down to 117. Tell me you're short, Mr. Michael Noss.
Yeah, he's putting on his long pants right now. The long, not the short pants, the long pants. So,
Long pants. Okay, all right. So we are trading down here. What I can say is that this is kind of the bottom of a little bit of a, I don't know, what could you call this? Potential bottoming flag? I don't know. We are cheap.
wow, the
That's a wipeout.
revenue is projected to reach 790 billion to eight. It's expect 2026 revenues expected 12% growth. So I like the YOLO pants, Nos, with earnings 786 to $8 per share. Very interesting here. With I was seeing some headlines projecting like different. The EPS was like 4, then 5, and then it came out way lower.
Way lower. So, I mean, we joke around a lot like, oh, price is not seen since last week. We are entering a zone where prices have not been seen since 2019. So, I mean, nothing to scoff at. If you're looking to, put on your YOLO pants, as Michael Nas says there, I mean, I won't
Or
tell you
rather,
not to. I won't tell you not to.
rather 11 revenue was 11 billion versus 10 billion rather than that. So sorry, I was reading, but the
Okay.
adjusted earnings were minus 275 versus 34% expected. Whoa.
Whoa.
$3.09 miss.
And that's where you
$3.09.
can really, sorry, that's just where you can see that geo, or that, I'm sorry, that political risk starting to be
Oh,
to come
I
to the
see.
surface here. It's like, man, we were that
So
off in terms of prediction. It's really hard to predict policy in this sector right now.
yeah, results were burdened by $2 per share in unfavorable retroactive premium adjustments. California Medicaid business.
Mm.
California Medicaid business. Ooh.
I don't know. Honestly, I was pretty in the loop for the Oscar trade. It says Michael Noss knows the saga. Me getting beat up by Oscar the Grouch and just stuffed back in that trash can on Sesame Street. Well, ever since I kind of got stopped out of that, I honestly stopped paying attention to the headlines because it was so depressing. Just like, all right, how are conservatives going to take
Yeah.
healthcare now? I'm just like, dude, you already took my money in the trade. Get me out. But it might be getting time to start looking at buying some of these, and not getting biased in by my own personal feelings about these companies.
Wow.
Because I won't let that stop me from making money if it's time. So maybe it is. I'll start having to look through
Well,
these.
what conversation did we just have on capitulation and
Mhm.
exhausted? Yeah, I mean, this could. I like the NASA's idea here as far as take scoop her on up. MOH, yeah, and we could see some continuation on this the panic selling until it exhausts. But good
Man,
alert there on MOH. Yeah,
yeah,
well, so
that's
you're
hammering.
out there, Mister Steve in California. How's the? Do you like the schedule, trading schedule?
Oh no, it's terrible. You guys just use me as exit liquidity when I'm too tired to get up in the morning sometimes. I don't appreciate that. Actually, it's really nice for the afternoon. It's really nice, for futures trading too. Sometimes I'll trade
Right.
the London Open at night, and that's kind of nice. And then I can sleep in, miss the New York Open, not feel too guilty about it. But in general, I think that East Coasters definitely have it made. They get to have breakfast and chill before the market opens. I'm like, I have to choose between waking up before the sun or, panic waking up and like, just really relying on my alerts and my automation
Mm,
to execute in the mornings. Cause you know what? It's hard to operate your best very first thing in the morning before that coffee set in. So
right.
I'll trade with you. Kevin, remind me, sorry, where are you out of again?
North Carolina.
North
Yeah.
Carolina. Okay. Yeah. So, I would trade. I would trade if you're open to that. You want to do the old Freaky Friday.
I don't know. I've heard of traders that really didn't like your schedule, or you have the whole day with the family and whatnot because you trade at 6:30 to 8:30 or whatever, the morning of. But yeah, I can imagine because you got to be your best mentally for sure. We go over,
Mhm.
got to
I
be
will
sharp.
say it is definitely great for morning people. Like you said, the big upside is that I have the whole rest of my day. The thing is, I don't like trading the second half of the day anyway. So
Mhm.
like I would be fine getting off at noon as opposed to getting off at 9, you know? Like that would still be enough of the day for me. So I'd
Yeah.
take that and not have to be up, while it's still
Right.
dark out. My cat wants to go get let out and I'm like freezing, it's a whole thing, but you know what? That's I think the epitome of first world problems.
And
Getting
then
still to sit down at my desk, make some money on the markets, living the dream.
people in Europe, what they get to work a job and then work the market thereafter, right? I mean, they
I don't know. That
see.
sounds that sounds like literal hell. It's like no time off. It's like people who trade crypto like on the weekends and stuff. I'm like, dude, when do you live? When do
Oh,
you,
I know.
breathe?
My wife, she would not be happy with me with
I
the
know, I know. I'm on thin ice already, spending this much time on the screen. Like, give me my breaks. They're
like,
talking about
honey,
25/7 trading. I'm like, Jesus, geez
honey,
Louise.
I'm wrapping up my stream with Steve. Now time to head to futures. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh my
exactly. It's like
goodness.
clocking out of one
Yeah.
job and into the next. It's like I don't know. I want to work smarter, not harder. I want my AI. They can trade for me. They can trade for
Oh yeah.
me, and I'll just be the managerial role. That's the dream.
Guys, just doing a little bit of homework here on these earnings plays. Yeah, we got wow, MOH just dead. Reddit curling back around. That has
Oh,
traded like a low float penny stock, RDDT. Roblox. Roblox is holding 70 right now. 70 is a level to be mindful of. Again, guys, for newer traders like that don't want to trade the fear or euphoria entirely, wait for the levels to set and then have defined risk levels.
yeah,
Professional traders, they focus risk, amateurs focus profit. So take your mind off profit and focus good trading risk, and money's a byproduct of that.
I love
Uh,
that. That's
and then MSTR lower 102. Amazon still base and got clear risk levels again, the 200. I know some guys in chat were already taking profits on the Amazon as it's going sideways.
nice. Yeah, yeah. And I think it's doing the same thing where it's kind of setting the bottom of a range where it could still wash out that 200 tomorrow. Just take people with
Mhm.
our setup here saying, hey, our stop's below. So there can be frames on or trades on different time frames. If you're a scalper, maybe you took that $5 already, great trade. That $5 to $7 that it gave you. Maybe you're waiting. This was just a tester, and you're hoping for an undercut and a reclaim of 200 to add in. Or maybe you're a big old bear. You're looking to short, and you're just waiting for the cash to come in, the money to come in tomorrow, and you can tag in on that trade and get a push below that 200. And you're looking at this price action above
Yeah.
200 as a short opportunity. Many ways to skin a cat depending on your time horizon. You can all win. Just something to remember. Meanwhile, SPY
I
pushing
like
a new low. So we are finding no traction. I'm feeling pretty good about sitting heavy with cash here. I'm with you, Tyler. I'm looking for dips to buy in the market. Tyler's looking at Microsoft here, and we are under 400 now after hours. So this is something to consider. Microsoft been absolutely beat on, just beat on. And this is a Microsoft. I don't care about what you are cooking up at home, guys. You do not have Microsoft at home. You are not making Microsoft vibe coding in your basement. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know who needs to hear it. But now we're trading all the way back into this area of support. And I gotta say, I want some Microsoft. I gotta say I want it because I already own it and I want to average down. But now if I didn't own any, I'd be actually considering it right after we sweep and reclaim this 389. So this is the the stop run fib here. It's also right back into our long-term support. See where I'm drawing the space from? See the base of that?
Oh yeah, I
And we
like that
can
you
even
utilize that. Yeah, the range there.
and
I
I like
love
how
that.
before when it wicks in there too, holding real strong. So yeah, Kevin,
Yeah,
that's the area I'm looking at here. But
I,
I'm with Tyler. I like this one.
yeah, I like what you were saying too. With what which plays are you convicted with? What's your pocket ace? Sizing those accordingly. Less convicted, sizing out, just
Yeah.
not letting the ego take control there. Lance brings up a good point though. Amazon, they're in their call right now, right? 4:30 was the conference call, so we'll see what they say on that conference call.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, and that's usually the two moves. The one initial one off the earnings, then you get a little bit of mean
Good.
reversion. So sometimes if you miss or you're too scared to play that initial move down for Amazon, that's that sell, then you can just get a little bit of safe money on the mean reversion after that. And then you can say, all right, well, now we have a new set of data coming out. Who knows what's going to happen? But this was like the kind of easy money move. You don't know where it's going to get to, but you know it's going to bounce off 200. You just take that until you find some sellers. Maybe up here you notify the sell or notice those sellers. Maybe you're just taking the money into that 205. But there's easy money and there's hard money. So now we're working our way back into the hard money, where who knows how this earnings call is going to go? Who knows how the new liquidity at the open tomorrow is going to enter? Because we saw with Microsoft, first reaction bearish, similar to Amazon. Then we did get the mean reversion up, and then the next cash session, and especially pre-market, just hammered, just brutally hammered there. So you gotta be ready to stick and move. And just because you took the long off 200 doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to hold there. So trade nimbly, folks.
Josh, you still in here? We were guessing the price MSTR today, and we do that every day. So you guys can actually, it's part of the challenge. If you scroll to the top, you can click on the link where there's an earnings challenge. We can guess the price of a ticker and have the opportunity to win an evaluation account. But you're fairly close, Josh. I mean, what was it? 107 it closed. I think he was
699,
guessing
didn't it?
okay. So, well, it closed there. I think his guess was 105 or 106, somewhere right. He was close
Oh,
to it within a point or two.
I thought he guessed within a penny, and you were still giving him a hard time. Like, come
Oh
on,
man.
man, you can do better than that. It's like,
So MSTR is interesting, and it's still bleeding here right now. So they apparently, Steve, they hold. I was looking this up: 713,502 Bitcoin.
oh,
So they're
that's
just
a lot.
moving with Bitcoin. It's like it doesn't even matter what the earnings are on MSTR because they're just essentially Bitcoin. It's the treasury was acquired at a total cost
Man,
54.26 billion. Whoa.
that's just so crazy. Just imagine like having your whole portfolio in Bitcoin right now. Now imagine it was leverage, and now imagine you are a company in the S&P 500. Like that's just
Oh, and
this is
so
a wild concept.
their average price, guys, MSTR, their average price, Steve,
Yeah.
76,052
Ooh, that's called
of
buying. That's
of
where DCAing can do you wrong if you're
okay.
DCA in a pile of trash.
That is why there's I don't so yeah, that is why they are selling off. So if we did the math on that, they're down roughly 13,000 a Bitcoin on
Oh,
713,502 Bitcoin. Oh my
that's a
goodness.
big number,
That
Kevin.
is a very large number that I'm not qualified.
It gives me anxiety, right?
Whoa! Woo!
That's like one of those you scroll through Wall Street bets and you're like, man, I'm glad that I'm me and that I
It's
even on
trillion.
my worst day I cannot blow up that much. Like it's impossible.
9 point nearly $3 trillion.
Yeah, that's a big number. You ever your brain just kind of blanks out and you're like,
That's what it's doing right now. Yeah.
yeah, it's just like returning some error code. It's like that I can't process anything bigger than 1,000. Let's be real, you know. Like
Uh,
my caveman brain is like, if I can't see that number, I don't know,
whoa.
I can't envision it. Not real. So man, it's just one of those days here. Amazon just kind of dribbling.
Whoa.
Roblox holding flat.
Dude.
This is probably the strongest earnings result. I do like that Reddit was able to creep back. It retested that 150. Now it's actually testing that 160, finding a few sellers there.
Mhm.
Roblox is trying to pop here actually, so we can see what they say on their earnings, but looking like kind of mixed bag here in general. SPY not happy, down after hours. Q's following suit there, and just seeing like we're not quite ready. Seems like we're not quite ready to call an end to this little bit of a pullback we have on the indices.
Ah, Amazon pulling back towards 200. Good job taking profits, guys in chat who took them into a 5.6. Yeah, Amazon is their calls going on too. So I agree with what you said earlier, Steve. That, like, we may flush some more
Hmm.
guys out on it
And with
before we.
Amazon here, I'm just noticing like it's just so much easier to just trust the process and like, all right, hey, I don't know where we're going to bounce. I know that we found buyers at 200. Well, let's see what we do when we encounter our trend setting 21 moving average on this, just the shortest time frame on the one. So that's
Mhm.
where I want to see if sellers are real. And you know what? Hey, sellers were real. Once you saw the rejection here, you could get out with a nice $5 and change, $6 and change, and just easy trades like that compound really fast. And you know, if you did, you could even say, hey, I'll just flip short there and just ride it on down as long as we are losing this 200. This is the one where we might get shaken out, but no follow through. So that's another concept where like they can put in good attempts to reclaim a level that everybody's watching, but you can just wait for this candle to close and say, all right, okay. This is a look where I can't deny the potential for a bottom right here. What I can say is that you're going to have to push up and then you're going to have to push up higher. So if this candle sets this green candle here over the yellow, you can put your stop right above it, like one tick above it, and say, hey, if it follows through, I don't want to be involved. It's going to happen quick.
Mm.
It'll rip up on me, you know. But if not, this could be the kind of, it's like you know, when you're watching, I don't know, I watch a lot of YouTube videos of animals. It's after a long trading day, and those black bears, they like to charge, and then like it's just a fake little like you
Mhm.
know run at you, and
Oh,
that's
I
what the
get it.
market will
Yeah.
kind of do too.
Yeah.
That fake little. It's like you just gotta be like, yo, chill, give it a chance, and then
So, hey, I'm predator, you're prey. That's what they're saying. And
yeah.
that's what the market will do. Yeah, I agree. I mean, the big boys. Well, they know most people. Look, this is what I've seen lately. As even some big players, Steve, I've seen lately posting how like traders that are well experienced that are saying they're either A in drawdown or B like they've lost a significant amount here recently, but just because the overall we've seen so many liquidation just events where if the market's going to humble you, like you said, the bear is coming, it's going to humble you. You got to sign. You got to. The market will bring you back down to appropriate sizing. Like and you got to know when to size
Mhm.
up, size down. So just make sure in this market, guys, you don't stay wrong. Staying wrong is the one thing you can control outside of everything else. Uh, and trade like I like the range that you were showing. It's like this is the range where I'm going to accumulate shares, and outside of that, the trade's invalidated. It's over. Like the theory was wrong. I'm out of it. I'm done with it. It's just move on to the next trade. When people put $20 in a slot machine and you lose it, most people are not saying, that was I that was my fault. They're not saying it's my fault
Yeah.
because why is that? Because you accepted the risk prior to taking the trade. So if you do that in stock trading, like understand what the risk is and accept it. Don't say no, 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 like that. Let me re-enter that. This is because oftentimes what do? We do exhaustive analysis, and we think, Steve, that like more analysis equates to more profits, when in
Right.
reality it's quite the opposite. It's just trading the price action objectively for what it is. So, guys, this was a fun hour with Steve. It flew by, always does. Wow, this earnings was fun
Absolutely. Yeah.
covering it.
Thank you so much. This is a blast as usual. So guys, hope you've enjoyed. If so, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, show us some love in the comments. We appreciate you so much. And remember, you can always find us at Discord on our Trade the Pool Discord. You know, we are active in there. We have a lot of great traders in there every single day. Personally, you can also find me at Twitter at Steve Tileman, SteveTeilmann. You can look in my bio, find my personal Discord community in there as well. Kevin, you got any plugs here for the boys before we head on
Oh,
out?
Mr. Florida Joe plugged it, and then the YouTube channel, Avery Day Trading, Green Team. We're always adding value as much as we can to the traders. We just love, love, love helping traders out, find their edge, find their find their system of trading, and help just growing together as a community. That's what we're doing here at Trade the Pool, growing as a community together. Group of like-minded individuals that just have a knack for trading. Can't do anything. Just can't do anything else, Steve. Got to trade. Got to trade.
And we are
Love
an
trading.
interesting type of
Breed.
person, us traders, but you know what? I'm right there with you. I just can't put it down. I love it, Kevin. Great stuff there. Be sure to check him out. Be sure to check out Trade the Pool. And we will be right back at it next week, the Monday to Thursday. That's our jam. And yeah, if you like these earning streams, let us know because we're having fun doing them.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys.
All right, guys. Well, have a great weekend. Trade light on Friday tomorrow. I'm going to be trading very small, if at all. Be sure to lock in those gains on the week if you got them, and just surf this volatility. We will get to clear skies ahead. Till then, protect that risk, protect that capital, and have a great weekend. Take care, guys. Later now.